Hi guys, so today's video is going to be a tutorial for this, and I do hope you know what this is. This is a White Walker from Game of Thrones, or like the main White Walker, the one who on the last episode of season 2 finally made his appearance and scared the living shit out of everyone. I definitely was like in my bed watching it illegally online and was like, holy fuck, like why? Finally you get to see the White Walkers, so winter is coming. Winter is coming. Yeah, so this is a non-prosthetic version of his look, and I do hope that you guys enjoy it. This look haunted me, and this was something that I wanted to do and I didn't know how to do without making it like super complicated and doing like hours of prosthetics, because I actually found a page, and this is the page that I'm referencing. It's the close-up of the prosthetic design and everything, and it's incredible. Like, it's obviously someone put a lot of time and effort into doing like a full, either like I don't know if it's a silicone prosthetic or like a full foam latex prosthetic, but it's pretty freaking intense, and it just bugged me for like, I've asked all my friends, I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do it, but I really wanted to. So this is what this is. This is it's all done with just makeup. There's, I covered my eyebrows and added a little bit of a beard with some spirit gum, but I feel like this is something that you guys could do at home if you took the time. It's really not that difficult once you know kind of what to put things and use sort of a reference. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this, and this is something that I'm really proud of and happy to do. Yeah, this is something that it kind of filled me with joy when I did it, and I haven't done that in a lot of videos. It's really hard for me, I'm gonna get a little personal here, but it's really hard for me around Halloween because I feel like so many people are doing so many things that it's hard to either be original or just have that constant flow of creativity. But yeah, so this is one that it got me really excited to get back into it. So yeah, if you guys want to know how to do it, then just stay tuned, and here's the tutorial. Okay, so the first thing you want to do with this look is to basically set out the base color, and the base color I kind of deducted is pretty much white. It's more of like a yellowy white, but let's get real, it's mostly white. So I'm just going to use NYX's Jumbo Eyeshadow Pencil in Milk, just because white face paint is pretty expensive, especially the one from the Makeup Forever Flash palette. I have mentioned many times before that I am allergic to the white stuffs kind of in the tube, like the cheaper stuff. I also just discovered that Bunny, our Graveyard Girl, she just mentioned in one of her videos that she had a reaction to that stuff too. So if you want to use the more like cheaper brand special effects makeup that comes out at like Halloween and stuff, just be sure to check, like test it here or something, just to make sure that you're not allergic to it before you put it on your whole face. I did that once one year and it was not fun, put it that way. Basically just put this all over my face. And then also I just did down my neck a little bit, like I could do it like full down if I wanted to, but I'm kind of just going to do it sort of to here, so I just went ahead and took the white down my face. Have the white on, then the next thing I did is I just blended it out, and I actually just took a little like cosmetic sponge. This kind of helped me get it a little bit more even than if I used my fingers, because I just used my fingers when I did my scary clown tutorials and stuff, and it kind of lets it get more messy and look kind of open, but I found if you use a sponge it kind of evenly blots it out. Okay, so then one thing I forgot to mention is that even though this makeup look has no prosthetics to it, it does have some very sort of simple things that I feel like most people could do if they put the time in. The one thing is just covering your eyebrows. I use just school glue, like stick glue. You just kind of smear it down, let it dry, and you could just quickly put some white over it. Again, you're going to be doing some detail stuff like on top of it, so it's not going to be super important that it's perfect, you know? It's not like you're doing like a seamless eyebrow. So yeah, so the main thing with this white, once you have that on, is to make sure that you set it. And I actually set this with a white eyeshadow. I'm using the white from Sugar Pill, I forget what that one's called, Taco I think. And I'm just taking a big fluffy brush like this. I'm just taking a big brush like that, and then I'm just going to gonna press that on and set it. Okay, and then once that's all set, then the next thing that I did was the shading in gray. And this is really what I found to be the thing that made it look so cool before you added in obviously all the lines. Because I spent a lot of time looking at this thinking, okay, how can I do this without making like a full foam latex face piece, basically? Because I mean, how many people know how to do that unless you're on Face Off or like you're something that you went to school for. So I kind of just looked at it more as the shading. Now I am basing this off of a picture of the actual prosthetic design and less of a picture like a screen cap from the show, because that is obviously darkened, it's CGI'd and stuff like that. It's really blue toned. This is more pictures that they took like in a studio of the actual makeup, so I'm basing it off of that if you're wondering. A little brush like this works perfectly for my face shape to get in and do the work that I want to do. You want something like a little bit smaller. So then I'm taking this color. This is sort of like a gray brown, and this is the color I use a lot for shading and stuff. So I'm basically just gonna get my brush in there and do kind of the basic shape. Now there is a forehead indent, so there's one kind of like right here, and then there is a line that goes right in through the temple. And then this one you want to put kind of right under your cheekbones. And you can also do down your neck, which is right underneath the jaw. And then this is going to go right underneath like this. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then there's also another line that goes right down like that as well, just basically from the indent of your line. So that's the kind of basic shape. Now I'm going to go in and darken it up a little bit with a little bit more grays and blacks and stuff and kind of make sure that they're even. The thing is that's great about this is that if you mess up, like I kind of made this a little bit too close, you can take a little bit of the white and kind of fix it a little bit, and then kind of reset it. It's just so that you can clean up anything that you feel like isn't perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and darken up this kind of indent shape right here and show you how to start doing all the lines and everything. Kind of a very skeletal sort of shading, but it's a little bit different because of this part in the cheeks going up. It's pretty cool though. Also I added a little bit of darkness right around here, and then I'm going to show you how to do the eyes. Now the eyes are very like this kind of circular shape. It's obvious that the prosthetic kind of sits like right in there. So I'm just taking a brush. I use one, these are both 217s. I use one for like the darker colors and one for white if I need to blend stuff out. So again, I'm just taking a little bit of the gray kind of brown and a little bit of black, and then this is where I'm just going to sort of build up that kind of shape. Have all the shading done, that's when you can start going in and doing the like wrinkles. That's kind of the best way to call them, wrinkles, or indents in the skin and stuff like that. Now the thing that I did use the Makeup Forever Flash palette, and I used a mix of white and black. This is kind of the finished thing that I had on my hand, but you want to have, I'm going to grab a little bit of white, like to start off, and just add in the slightest amount of black, and then that's going to go kind of like your basic lines. And then as you start to do more and more, then you want to do a little bit more darker lines and stuff like that. So basically, the darker the line, the more it's going to appear sunk in. So if you look at the actual picture, his forehead, or the one that I'm referencing, his forehead is not super dark. The parts that are dark are right in here, a couple lines like right into his brow, some darker ones right around the mouth as well. So then you don't want to start off super dark and then it looks too graphic. So I kind of started off with more of a gray thing, and if you want to go in and darken them up later, then you can. So that's kind of what I went ahead and did. Now as to where to start, it's a little bit difficult. I kind of started right in the forehead and I got bored and then I moved somewhere else. It's a little bit tricky because it's so much, it feels like so much line work to do, but trust me, it looks so cool at the end that I started doing it, I was like, whoa, fuck, like, I got so excited. I haven't been this excited to do, like, a makeup look in a very, very long time. So, basically, I'm just gonna kind of start doing stuff and sort of tell you guys what I'm doing. It's more of me just looking at a picture and half-assing it, but, so yeah, so basically I only did one side, so it's, there is like a major brow thing right along here from his brow. So you can see that I'm going to end up darkening that line up a little bit, but yeah, so then there's a couple wrinkles that go up. Now the brush that I'm using is a brush that is kind of more pointed on the end, but if you press harder it gets thicker. Like for example, like you can do like a very thin line, but if you press harder it gets bigger. That's the kind of brush that I like to use for this. So yeah, so there's a bunch of wrinkles kind of going. And another thing too is you don't want to be very precise with this, or like too even and too perfect. You want them to kind of be jaggedy and stuff because it's not a perfect look anyway. So then there are some that kind of cut across. It almost looks like a grid from where his wrinkles are. And then right in through the darker parts, it's more of like vertical lines. So yeah, and then those lines kind of just go up as well. Now the brow kind of, the lines kind of go out from that. So like any of these kind of shadowed concave parts is where the lines go more kind of straight and stuff like that back. Now one thing to remember with this is that the more kind of lines and shading that you add, the more it looks like you put time and detail into it. So that's kind of a thing to remember. I'm going to change the shape of my nostril. So kind of just cuts up like that. So then I actually just took a little bit of black eyeshadow for that and filled it in just so you can see like my new nostril looks a little bit differently shaped. Okay, and then I'm just going to do another line that kind of goes down from there a little bit. And then one that kind of goes right around the nostril as well. And it's basically changing the shape of your nose, which is pretty cool. And then I think from there what I'm going to do is start doing, it's so hard to figure out where to start and stop, but I'm going to do kind of my copy of this side onto this side, and I'm going to kind of start with a little bit of the eyes that go up. And then I'm going to skip down to the mouth now, because it's going to make a lot of sense. This is basically the most difficult area, which is right in here. So if you want to do everything else beside that, that's kind of how I did it. So the mouth, again, is just very, very tiny, tiny lines. Like the smaller the lines that you can get in there, the better. So then I am just going to go ahead and do the first line connecting this. So you can see that I kind of just went from inside of there in. And then once you get kind of to the corner of the mouth is when you want to do more kind of going up like that. And then there's one that goes from kind of right there on the lip. That's almost like a jowl, like that, and that's going to kind of continue that shape. And then these lines are going to go more down. And then now this part right here, like this one, this is the main part that has all the texture in it. Like that's kind of the part that looks like ice. Again, I'm not going to do prosthetics, so the thing that I kind of did is I kind of just took a little bit of my brush to kind of make it look like there's some sort of texture through there. And it's okay if you take a little bit of color and do like a little bit of lines, just kind of jagged edges and stuff through there, just so that it looks like it has a little bit of texture. Okay, so then once kind of the basic line work is done, and you can kind of start on the neck. The neck is really, really easy. Basically into these kind of darker colors, you want to do more kind of like straighter lines going up. You can do this a little bit better, like do it as clean as you've done the face, but yeah. So then this one kind of continues straight down. It's really hard because I can't really see what I'm doing when you do your neck. It's like up from the jaw. And then also you kind of want to just do a couple of lines coming from your ear. If you wanted to do your ear, you could. It's very easy to do, kind of like, they're not really elf ears, but they're kind of like elf ears. There's a really good picture from it from the side if you wanted to do the ears. Now that's kind of the basic thing. This is a little bit darker through here, so I'm gonna just take a little bit of the gray that I have, mix it with a little bit of black, and do a little bit more darkening of it up, and then show you how to finish up the rest of this. Okay, so I've darkened some things up a little bit, and that kind of just adds, the more kind of shading you do is going to be kind of your personal preference. But yeah, so the next thing that I did was his little like ice beard. Now he has pretty much a totally badass ice beard. Now I wasn't gonna do it, and then I'm like looking around and I'm like, I have spirit gum and I have cotton pads, like just the very simple kind of makeup removing pads, and I'm thinking, hello, when you pull one of these apart, what does it do? It kind of makes this like frayed cotton. Works perfect for an ice beard. So that's what I'm gonna do. You can get spirit gum pretty much anywhere around October. I got some at the dollar store even. So it's definitely easy to find. I figure it's something that it's not going to be difficult to find this stuff whatsoever. So I'm just going to take a little bit of spirit gum, and you just kind of want to tap it till it gets tacky, and then just take kind of little strands of cotton. And stick that on. So then once you get kind of your first row of ice beard, then you can kind of add a little bit of a second row to kind of make it a little bit thicker through some spots. Always a good idea to remember which hand you have spirit gum on, otherwise you get covered and stuff. Okay, and then once you have his little ice beard done, some added things that you can do for this look is you can get either like a white wig or some of that silver spray paint stuff. I literally just dyed my hair yesterday, so I'm not willing to spray anything into it, but you can take a little bit of baby powder. Baby powder is not going to do anything to your hair whatsoever. So take like a bunch of baby powder, and you can kind of make your hair whiter at least. Won't die in the process. It's a really good tip if you want like kind of like whiter hair. It also will absorb oil in your hair, so if you want to not have dry shampoo, then you can do that. And then basically to get it out, you just want to like kind of just dust it, brush your hair through, and it kind of makes it all fall out. So then you can have your hair down, you can do whatever you want to it. I'm just going to leave mine like this for the sake of photos, basically. Yeah, that looks decent. Yeah, so that's kind of how to get sort of white hair. Baby powder is a really, really easy way to do it. So yeah, you can also take some blue contacts, those like really blue eyes that the White Walkers have. That would be really badass. I'm just gonna leave it like this because I think people get the point as to who you are, hopefully, if they watch Game of Thrones. Also, he does have some really freaky teeth, so you can get some of those like prosthetic teeth if you want to. I'm not. I probably wouldn't talk that often if I did this. You can also black out your teeth if you wanted to as well. Yeah, so that's kind of what it looks like, all complete. Naturally, I do like the side that I did first better. That always happens, but I think it looks cool from both sides. It looks cool, kind of dead on as well, I hope. Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you do it and try it out, let me know. I hope that you guys haven't seen this before. I definitely Googled the crap out of this. I was like, okay, someone had to have done the makeup for this before. So I'm sure someone has, but I think it's fun. It's something a little bit different and fresh and new. And yeah, so if you are a fan of Game of Thrones, I hope you guys like this and try it out. If not, then you can do a creepy old Iceman if you have never watched the show before. Yeah, so until my next video, I will talk to all of you soon, and I hope you're doing good.